from sunny Florida. It's 10:33 in Orlando area, sunny Florida. Welcome to my channel, Kate B here. I'm in my beautiful kitchen, and today we're gonna have a very interesting live stream. Just wanted to say that today, this morning, my heart is full. Yesterday, I was hosting guests. I was hosting very dear guests to me. They're visiting from Germany, and it's somebody very dear to me. It's somebody that I consider a part of my family. There were 3 ladies and 1 gentleman who were visiting, and I was hosting a lunch. And today when I woke up, I felt this feeling of deep, great, gratefulness, a deep feeling of appreciation that these beautiful people took time from their vacation to come and visit my family in my house. And I had a great pleasure to host them and spend such a heartfelt time with them. Some moments were a little bit emotional. I'll tell you a little more later. But the whole visit, the whole time spent together, it was really heartfelt. It was very soul-filling, and it was just happy. It was very joyful. It felt with such a sincere joy, such a sincere happiness to spend time, talk about everything, discuss different cultures, making memories, laughing. So today I woke up with this feeling that my heart is full. And for those moments, I want to tell you that when you feel that, they give you energy, they give you resources. When your heart is full, those emotions, they drive you to just do whatever you're doing. And those emotions kind of confirm that everything you do, you're doing okay, you're doing right. There is no right or wrong. You're just doing it. You're receiving great satisfaction. You receive joy. You receive pleasure from spending time with the people you love, spending time with dear guests, spending time with the people with whom you can have meaningful conversations, with whom you have a lot of common thoughts, maybe visions about lifestyle, about culture, about what's going in the modern world. And today I just woke up and I thought to myself, as much as I am not a person who likes to have guests in my house, I enjoyed this visit, that I want to keep my house open for this type of gatherings. So today, I'm trying to put my thoughts together just because I'm speaking English and some thoughts are coming in Russian. And this topic is very interesting, I would put it like that, because I'm gonna reveal some secrets about myself and about hosting guests in my house that might open a little bit up why this topic is such a big deal for me and why I'm willing to talk to you about this in the live stream. So not to just stay and blah blah blah. I decided I'm wearing my apron, I'm in my kitchen, obviously I'm cooking something. So today we have this beautiful fresh duck. Well, it's not fresh, it was frozen. It took me about 2 days to thaw it in the fridge. So this is the duck, and duck is considered less greasy and somewhat healthier meat. So today I'm cooking duck, and I looked up some recipes. I haven't cooked duck before. I don't remember if I cooked duck, but I probably didn't. I cooked turkey, I cooked roasted chicken, I cooked a lot of regular meat, I cooked fish, but I don't remember cooking duck. So I looked up a lot of recipes on the internet. I just got ideas how I can cook this duck. And I came up with the idea to cook my duck in the oven bag. And I'm gonna stuff it with apples. I didn't have green apples. The best idea is to stuff them with green apples. But I only have these apples, but they will do. And I also looked up what I have for spices and what I can do to rub my duck. And I came up with all sorts of ideas, and it's usually like whatever you carry in your fridge, everything will do to cook your duck. So today I rubbed it with salt. I let it stay for about 15 minutes. Now I put a little mixture of spices here. I put paprika, rosemary, I put black pepper. I mixed it up very well. I put black pepper. I put a little bit of garlic salt. So it's just a mixture of dry herbs, seasonings, and I'm going to rub my duck with this spices, and then I'm going to talk a little more about hosting guests and what I think about how I feel about hosting guests and how I feel about cooking, and I will talk about the topic I was thinking to share with you in today's live stream. So if you're here with me, for my 4 viewers, thank you for sticking with me. Please let me know if you can hear me well. Please let me know if you like the picture, because I'm using my new phone, S24 Plus, Samsung Galaxy S24 Plus. I'm using my new phone for this live stream. I'm using some filters in moderation. But the most important thing, that I'm coming with you today in a very good mood. And this great mood gives me such a good resource and energy to spend Sunday and to be grateful for everything I have and be grateful for everything life offers me and my family. So I'm using all the spices. I'm rubbing my duck real well in all the spices, and I'm putting a little bit inside too, in the cavity. And again, first of all, I read a lot of tips and recipes, but again, it's up to you what your family like, what some people maybe don't like certain spices, some people may be allergic to something. So it's up to you. My philosophy when I'm cooking something, I look a lot of different recipes and I pick something that is doable for me, and I pick something that, you know, chefs recommend, which complements certain foods, certain meats. And at the end, the most important thing that I noticed in cooking is you have to cook with love. You have to be in a good mood, and you have to see why you're cooking. You have to put a meaning into cooking healthy meals, because then you're going to enjoy the food no matter what, and you're going to know that you cooked it with love, and you cooked it for your loved ones, and you cooked it for yourself, and you know that you kind of like eating healthy and you're eating good, and you're just Yeah, you just cook with love. So today, okay, so the story about this duck. When my sister, who lives in Germany, told me that her dear friends will be traveling in Florida and they would like to come visit me, I had a little panic attack. And yes, don't be surprised. When I'm inviting people over to my house, that's a lot of instant feelings I started to feel. And this is like a big range of feelings. It's excitement, but it's nervousness. Like I get really agitated and nervous. I get really anxious. I get a little bit of stress. So all these different emotions go through my head. And all of these emotions, just because I have certain insecurities, if I'm a great host, and if I can do a good job hosting people over. But where it comes from, so I just dropped my beautiful duck, and I'm gonna leave it for about 15 minutes, and then we'll proceed. While I'm talking, I'm gonna prepare the sauce I will use to rub my duck. And don't mind the water because I'm gonna wash my hands a lot, and at some point I might use the gloves. I don't like to use the gloves when I'm cooking because I like to feel my food with my hands, and I do really good hygiene. I always wash my hands here in the sink, and but sometimes I might use the gloves for something. But anyways, so everything. The psychologists tell us that everything comes from the childhood. And I grew up in the culture that we don't necessarily had very good variety and very good variety of foods every day. Things were very basic. We were not hungry, but things were very basic when I grew up. There was a certain amount of seasonal products. There was a certain meat that we could afford when I grew up. And of course, in the time of deficits, the grocery shopping wasn't as easy as the grocery shopping is here. It wasn't an abundance of products and foods and in the place I grew up. We lived in the city, so we didn't have livestock, or we didn't live out of our own gardens. So mostly we bought things in the grocery stores and in the market. And some people my age from the area I lived in Eastern Europe might experience similar experience in life, but some people would tell me, what are you talking about? My family always had good stuff and everything was available. There were different social classes, I would say, that some people had a little more access to extra supply of good foods. But my family was having basic food, basic meals. And my mom was an amazing cook. Like, I remember, even if you don't have anything, she'll come up with something. So everything she cooked tasted great. So my mom, I'm taking my cooking skills from my mom, and she was a great cook. She also was a people pleaser. So my mom, when she had people over, she would go overboard. And at some point, I think I felt a little bit traumatized by that fact that my mom would go overboard to host people in her house, to impress people with a variety of foods, to impress people with her cooking skills, to just let people have a great time. And this great time was based around the table, around the great food she cooked. And sometimes I remember that if she could get access to a certain delicacies, like let's say a can of olives, she would keep this delicacy for months just because she would expect some guest, or she would keep that delicacy to be used during a holiday. Let's say dry salami. Dry salami can be stored a little longer than some other fresh foods. So dry salami will also be such a delicacy that you cannot eat it every day on the sandwich. You have to keep this dry salami for a special occasion, because guests might come to your house and you have some appetizers to put on your table. And dry salami, in my memories, were like a big deal. I couldn't eat dry salami every day because first of all, you can't find it easily in the store, and second of all, if my mom would find it somehow, it wasn't for us to eat. It was just for a special occasion. So back in the day, I didn't think about it much, but later on in life, I noticed that when the guests would come to my house, I would get a huge anxiety about feeding people. I would have a huge anxiety if I have enough food to put on the table. I would have huge anxiety if I do a good job to impress and set up the table and make sure everybody is happy with the variety of food, and to make sure nobody has allergies, and to make sure they like my cooking, to make sure they, I cooked up to certain standards of my culture. So for many, many years, when I had my own family here in the United States, I would tell my husband, I don't like guests. Guests give me such a big stress, such a big anxiety. And he would always say, well, it's not true, because when your guests, like when you expect some friends and guests who you really know and dear to you, you go overboard. But if it's some guest like my husband wants to invite, I always be even more stressed, because, I want to impress guests my husbands really care about and like. But of course, later on as a couple, we have a lot of families we really love, and we have friends, and I started to dig deeper why it happens. Like, I have this huge panic attacks and anxiety about the guests. And I kind of realized that when my mom was a hostess, she would invite such a big crowd from like different families, from different, places she met them. It could be neighbors, it could be people from work, and they all would come to the house, and that was big gatherings, maybe 20 people, right? And I remember my mom being so outgoing, being so pleasing, being so energetic that she would cook, she would make us help. But she would just go around, and instead of sitting down and enjoying gifts, she would serve, like she was a people of service. She would go above, like 100 miles above, just to make everybody happy, just to accommodate everybody, to accommodate every taste, to accommodate every little single, course. And it was always variety of salads, appetizers. It was always variety of meats. It was dessert. And thinking that the food was kind of like not easily available in an abundance like here, you would think my mom was a pure, fairy to come up with this magic big table and hosting people in her house. And I remember she was so anxious, and she was so busy, energetic, cooking, getting everything ready, making sure everybody happy, running around. And I remember that I didn't like it. Maybe as a kid, I kind of was jealous that she was going out so much for random people. Well, for me, they were random adults, right? But for her, they were dear friends, family, neighbors, and people she loved. She, kept in touch. So as a kid, I was kind of looking at my mom and I'm like, what's wrong with her? Why she's trying to so hard to impress everybody? Why she's trying to get out of her comfort zone to be so, nice to people? And I don't know if I was jealous or I truly couldn't understand what's the fuss about. I don't know why, but at some point later on in life, I started to realize maybe seeing her going out put me in a position that I have to do a good job too hosting people. And maybe my insecurities, maybe I wasn't sure I can do as good job as she did being a hostess, being a great person, hostess and cook. And I always told my husband that I dread having people in my house. I remember when I had a kid and she was 1 and then she was 2, we hosted a little party for the kid, and I would invite different families I met through the moms group. And I had panic attacks, literally. I would show up the whole week buying different type of foods, what might Americans eat, what my Russian friends would eat. And I would literally have anxiety attacks every day if I'm doing things right. And it put a lot of pressure on me. And after those parties, I didn't feel satisfaction. I felt drained. I always felt like I was like a plain chef, a cook who cooks for a party and stays behind the scene, because I couldn't truly enjoy to sit down with people and relax and know that everything is okay. I was running around like crazy, making sure people have everything they need, making sure it's enough food for everybody, making sure that people having a good time. And I remember I was so drained after those parties, and I was telling my husband, that's why I don't like guests, because it's a lot of work. It put me under major stress and stuff like that. And we had a lot of discussions that at some point when life got busy and you have things to do on the weekends and you're full-time working mom and you have 2 kids, on the weekends you just plainly want to do nothing on top of the laundry, on top of grocery shopping. You don't want to host guests. And we had a grill, and my husband said, why you worry so much? We can always grill the meat, and you don't need to cook all this Russian crazy foods. You don't need to go overboard. Let's kind of revisit why you stressing so much. He wouldn't stress as much as I do. He said, people don't expect you to have 7-course meal. People just want to hang out. He started to introduce me a different approach, a different thinking about hosting guests in your house. And I still would be resistant. So at some point, I told myself, when you grow, you have experiences, and you decide what works, what doesn't work, what you can do better next time. It all comes with experiences. You can't predict how things are going to be until you experience it. And out of those experiences, hi Kate, hi Rose Black Buana, welcome to my channel. Today we're talking about hosting people in your house, and today we're talking about cooking and hosting guests in your house and how you feel about it. So my husband is a great supporter. I'm a fire and he's the water to calm me down and to just put the fire down. So at some point he would tell me, what's the fuss? Who are you trying to impress? It's all in your head. People don't see it as a test, as an exam, how good of a hostess you are. People just want to come over, have a good time, have few drinks, have something to eat, and spend time having meaningful conversation. How did you learn English? It sounds very proficient. I started when I was 7. It was a specialized school, and then later on in high school we had a couple of subjects in English, like English literature, we had geography. Thank you. I try. And of course, I've been going to college here, and it helped a lot to get my accounting degree here and improve my English. Of course, it helped a lot when I worked in English-speaking families. I worked with Irish family, and then I came as au pair to the United States, and I improved my English living in the family for a year here in the United States. So it's a combination of factors. And of course, now I work in the library for the big university, and of course, everyday language is English. And of course, I'm growing American kids now, so I kind of, my kids' language is English, and that's how I refine it every day, and that's how I improve my English speaking skills, even if it's still second language. Even my kids still make fun of me, and I make a lot of grammatical mistakes. I just don't doubt myself. I just like speaking English. And I think when I started to do my channel, it was a challenge to speak English, but now I feel great because I'm very grateful for all the viewers from all different countries, and I kind of can express myself to a lot more people rather than speaking my mother tongue. Okay, so back to the hosting guests. And again, unless you experience something, you cannot decide how you're gonna, unless you experience something, you're not going to decide how you're going to feel later, and you're not going to decide what needs to be improvement. So going back to not hosting guests, at some point when kids started to grow a little bit, and I wasn't maybe not as stressed, I kind of started to let certain things go. I kind of worked on my stress levels. I kind of worked on my reactions to certain events. I started to understand that whatever my husband says makes sense, because again, people come to your house not to judge you. People come to your house not to criticize you. People come to your house not to get full, because everybody has food and access to food. So people just come to your house because they want to see you. They want to hang out with you. They want to spend time with you, because people just want to spend time. People just want to be present and have a good time, regardless how much, food or drinks you can offer. People just like you for your personality. People don't like you just for certain skills you have, and people just don't like you because you feed them to death. And when I started to think and revisit those thoughts and anxieties, I told to myself, yeah, that's true. If people like me, if people like my house, if people like me as a person, they don't come just to get full, and they just come for different reasons. And it's not only about food. It's about having a good time, having topics to talk about, having topics to share life experiences, having something in common, raising kids, discussing all thoughts of things, just communicating, just feeling a sense of belonging to just having friendship, just getting joy from being together. And I started to slowly kind of to curb my anxieties. Every time I host people, I feel like I still have high levels of stress and anxieties, but I found more ways to cope with it. I found more ways to calm myself down. I found more ways to cook my food, like being relaxed, being in good mood. And now I can truly say that I'm not feeling like I'm only serving people. Now I feel like I'm fully engaged in conversation. I'm fully engaged in having good time with people. I'm fully engaged with all these emotions of sharing time together, sitting at the same table, laughing about something. And it's a totally different, it's a totally different thing for me now to host people. And today I was trying to talk to you about that and tell you some techniques that you might find useful, that I learned through experiences all this range of emotions, from anxiety and stress to really enjoy and to really feeling that my heart is full, to really being confident in what I'm doing, with my cooking, skills, to really have meaningful meals for everybody, to really not think about serving, just being a part of that party, being the heart of that party, having attention, getting all this, nice feedback, that when people like something, just enjoy, compliments. So it's a totally different way I started to feel when, and it also comes with, as I say, with wisdom, with life experience. It comes how you can cope with your mental, health in general, how you're doing in life in other aspects of your life, how you have good relationship, not only about hosting guests, but how you interact at work, how you interact with your children, how you interact, all these other spheres of life. They give you energy, and they give you resources, and they give you some sort of satisfaction for your soul and for your brain to become a more relaxed host, to become a more to become less anxious about hosting friends and family in your house. And I think you understand certain things, how they worked in your childhood, and you kind of revisit why you react like that, and why something might have traumatized you, or why I'm not my mom. I don't need to be just like her. I can be my own person. I don't need to satisfy all the cultural, boxes that we might have in the culture I'm from. I'm my own person. I'm making my own rules in my house. I can host people to my standards, and I can set up my own standards, or I don't need any standards to just, to just have a good time. So when I started to think about it, at some point I started to let go. And again, yesterday we had this family over, and we only knew one person out of 4 people who came from Germany. We've never met them. We don't speak common language. We all spoke English. Some of the people couldn't speak even English, but we had such an amazing time. And I felt that it was not just me hosting it. It was so many factors in this atmosphere. It was so much love. It was so much appreciation for each other. It was so much beautiful. I'm sorry, I'm gonna cry. It was so much beautiful feelings, just the feeling of togetherness, and the food and the drinks, it just complements those special relationships you have with people. Food is not the main factor. Even if we had nothing, even if we would have like basic chips and salsa, I'm sure we still would have great time with those wonderful people who visited. So the story about my duck. Okay, duck was one of the things I wanted to cook when I hosted these beautiful friends from Germany. And at some point my husband said, no, since it's lunch, maybe you don't need to cook duck. Let's just grill. So we grilled steaks because, we wanted to have surf and turf. So we grilled some steaks, and we grilled some salmon on the cedar plaques, like little wooden plaques. Anyways, and I cooked my charcuterie board. So let's go back to the techniques. So the duck never worked because we have plenty of food. So I decided to cook duck today for Sunday. So I have a little bit of honey. I have Worcester sauce. I have soy sauce. I have some mustard, And I'm going to put a little bit of everything in this little plate I used for spices to rub my dog. And I'm gonna just pour a little bit of everything in this little bowl and mix some kind of sauce to pour over my dog, to rub my dog again. And then I'm gonna cut some apples and use apples to stuff the dog. And so going back to the techniques and coping mechanisms in hosting people in your house. Okay, first of all, it takes some planning. Okay, it takes some planning. You need to be open with your friends up front and tell them if you have certain events on the weekend that you can host them on a certain date. And be open. Don't try to tell them you can't host them on a certain day. Just be open, be honest, because it doesn't work for you. For example, we go on a lot of competitions and a lot of our weekends are busy. This weekend wasn't as busy, and I was able to tell them that we can host them on Saturday. And then when we started to discuss the time, they would say, evening works for us, but lunch would work a little better. So be flexible, be open, be honest up front. Don't try to make an impression that you don't want to see them. Of course, force majeures can happen, but just be open with people. It's life's so busy. People have a lot of commitments and schedule, and people would understand if you just simply cannot do it on a certain date or time. So be open about it. Don't have any reservations to tell people up front. Just find common grounds, find a good time that work for you both parties, and this is a part of a successful. This is the first step and the first part of the successful gathering. So we decided for this Saturday. And if you decide for something, maybe a week before, a couple of days before, just think about what would you like to cook. Just think about it. If there are people from your culture, if they want to see more dishes from your culture. If there are people not from your culture, maybe they won't try your food. Or maybe it's something that works great for you, that you and your husband really enjoy eating, and you want to share it with your company. So just be flexible about food too. Just be flexible about food too, and try to think about what you can cook. Try to think about your realistic timeline. Let's say people come in for lunch. Try to think that you have to be shopping on Thursday and Friday, and then if people come in on Saturday for lunch, you probably need to get up a little earlier, get certain things prepped in the kitchen, not to have rush and anxieties the last minute, and just think things through. So I'm a very organized person. I make lists, and I kind of know and think in advance what I want to cook, what might work, and how much food I need. So here come your organizing skills, and here come your planning skills, and here come your time management skills. So when you agreed on a date, and when you decided what is a good time, you go grocery shopping. So make sure you make a list. First of all, make a little list. How many appetizers you want to cook, how many hot dishes you want to cook, and what's for dessert. And simplify it. My technique now is less variety, but the best food ever. So my technique is not to cook 7 appetizers and everybody eats appetizers and get full, and that's it. My technique is to cook less, maybe variety, but the best food I enjoy, the best food my family enjoys. And the third factor for me will be the healthiest food. So And my philosophy is the food should be fresh, you know. I like to cook from scratch, and I like to feed people everything I eat myself. And if people have certain restrictions, I can ask. For example, we're big fans of garlic, we're big fans of onion, we're big fans of cilantro. But a lot of people don't like these things. They don't like the smell, they don't like the taste. So I kind of ask in advance, do you have any dietary restrictions? Do you have any preferences? And if people say, no, we love everything, we don't have allergy, and don't bother, don't worry too much, it kind of gives me a peace of mind that I'm doing everything right. So, second, sorry, I'm cleaning apples now. Second things what to, okay. So the night before, make sure you're in a good mood, you go to bed early, you're not irritated, and kind of just think about that it's going to be a fun day ahead of you, and you don't want to be, you know, beaten up or like tired or cranky in the morning. Just go to bed a little early, watch a relaxing movie, just don't think much about this, you know, party or something. Just take a relaxing evening. So in the morning, you wake up with a lot of new energy. In the morning, you're not waking up beaten up or cranky. And if in the morning you wake up in a great mood, it's a part of a successful day for you, I guarantee. So what I did, so on Friday, I shopped at Costco. I made sure I went after work and I shopped alone. I didn't take my kids with me. I didn't want to get distracted. I had a little list what I want to buy. I had a certain list of foods I want to cook. And again, when you have a list, everything easy. You just check things off your list. You're very organized. You don't forget anything. And even if there are a few things you forget, you go and you think about it. Like after Costco, I had to stop at Sprouts because I really love my fresh herbs, and Sprouts have great herbs. Like Sprouts have very good. I didn't have basil. And Sprouts have very good greens, especially dill. I'm like a big fan of dill. I buy big bunch of dill. And can you believe when I got to Sprouts on Friday night, they didn't have dill. So I almost had a meltdown. I almost had a panic attack. But they had little tiny boxes, like $2.50 for a little bunch of dill. And I had to buy those 3 boxes. And I had to buy some parsley. And I bought some basil, and I didn't have. I wanted to buy green olives, but I didn't find the kind I wanted in Costco, so I had to stop in Sprouts to buy olives from my for my charcuterie board. Okay. So on Friday night, again, you shopped, you put everything in the fridge, you discussed with your husband what you're gonna cook, and you gonna settle. You have a great evening on Friday, and in the morning you wake up in the great mood, you're full of energy, you're fresh, you do your normal morning routine, and then you go to your kitchen. Everybody is fed, you feed everybody. Saturday morning, usually my dad makes crepes on Saturday mornings, but this time I told him, please don't do crepes, because, you know, when he does crepes, it's a lot of extra dishes to wash, and I just wanted kitchen to be like kind of like empty and clean for myself so I can start cooking and prepping for the guests. So second thing, just be in a good mood. Don't be stressed, don't snap, don't be cranky, don't be tired. Just kind of put yourself in a good mood, because look forward to the good times. Don't look forward to a disaster. Don't look forward to the failure. You're okay. Just be self-confident. You've done it before. People come to see you. People just come to see and have a good time seeing you. Just being present. Life is not about all the time things you can touch. Life is more about good feelings, good emotions, feeling great, having good times, being happy, being interested in each other, sincere conversations, sincere feelings and stuff like that. So in the morning I woke up and I had I fed everybody. I told everybody, just leave me alone, don't ask me for many things to do for you, because I'm gonna be cooking. And be upfront with your kids and your husband. Just tell them that you're a little bit stressed, you're trying to do your best, getting ready for a gathering. So just let them know how you feel, and try not to be super mean. Sometimes, yeah, my kids would say, Mom, why are you so mean? Why are you so stressed? We just wanted to have this or that. And you were like, don't touch this, don't like, and I know, because I can snap sometimes too, but at the end of the day, it's just because, not because they do something wrong. It's just because I put some stress on me, and those certain reactions, they have nothing to do with them. They have something to do with my, with my reactions and how I want things to be perfect, with my OCD and with my perfectionism. So after I did the sauce in here, I poured it over my dog. And again, here is my dog. It looks good. And I let it sit for a little bit so it kind of marinates. And we don't want to stay here for the whole hour, because obviously, this marinade is good probably for 30 minutes, and we don't want bacteria started to grow after a certain amount of time. So we're gonna cook it like within the next 20 minutes. So I have to start the oven. I put it at roast, oven control. I'll put it on conventional roast, and I put it for 375. Maybe I should do conventional bake. Interesting. I didn't get this. Okay, maybe I'll do conventional bake at 375, because we're using a bag, so it's going to be bake, and it's still going to get gold because of the ingredients we put on the top of it. It's still gonna get nice and gold. I think the honey makes it get a little brownish gold in all the sauces, the soy sauce, and a little bit of Dijon mustard also give it a good rub to have a nice little crust, even if it bakes inside the bag. So I'm sure it's gonna be delish. And never ever doubt yourself. No, like, I'm a person of doubt. Like, I'm a Debbie Downer to begin with. That's my character. I'm always nervous. I'm always thinking about risks. I'm always thinking about worst scenarios and how to prevent them. And it gives me a lot of pressure, of course. It gives me a lot of mental pressure. So again, in the morning, I knew I had all my food ready. I knew what dishes I'm gonna make. I knew that I need to set up the table. And the second technique, the second trick is, don't be afraid to ask for help. People are capable around you. People are not just, relying on you solemnly. Don't be afraid to ask for help. I was the person, I was like, it's my show, leave me alone. You can't do it up to my standards, so don't help me. But I found a way that I can ask in a nicely way. I can trust people to do a good job, and I don't need to be control freak all the time. So my second mechanism to cope is to ask for help. So, for example, my dad is an amazing sous chef. Like, my dad can do anything in the kitchen if you give him a proper instruction. So thank you so much to my dad. I love him dearly. And for example, I tell him, Dad, I don't want you to be physical in the kitchen because it's my space and I need to move around. I need to do a lot of manipulation. So can you not be in the kitchen? But I need your help. Can you please peel the garlic for me? And he said, yeah, of course I can. So I tell him clear instructions. This is 2 bulbs of garlic. I need them peeled. And just use some other space in the house to peel the garlic, so you're not physically in the kitchen, you're not in my space, and this way I'm not gonna stress, and this way you're not gonna be in my bubble, and you're not gonna be on the way. But this gives me a lot of help. Okay, your kids, you have kids. My daughter is 14 and I know she's capable to do a great job. Back like a couple of years ago, you asked me, I don't trust my kids to do anything because they're not doing a good job up to my standards. But when I have a little trust and then faith in them, all of a sudden it's pure magic. Like for the New Year's table, for the big New Year's night, my daughter Stella, she folded the napkins and it was so beautiful. She just looked it up on YouTube, how to fold a napkin in the shape of Christmas tree, and she did a perfect job folding the napkins without me being there and showing her. She was capable. She was 10. Trust your kids. Ask them to help. Show them by being a good role model that it's possible. It's not a big deal. It's not a rocket science. And then I asked my 14-year-old to set up the table. I told her, this is the silverware. This is how you put it. I showed her at one plate. This is how you put the knife. This is how you put steak knife. This is how you put the salad fork. This is how you put the meat fork. And I showed her and I trusted her. And she did an amazing job setting up the table, right? So ask for help. Second thing, ask for help. Again, you have to be very organized and you have to think things through. What needs to be prepped like an hour before the guests arrive? What needs to be prepped 2 hours before the guests arrive? And what can be prepped like 15 minutes before the guests arrive? And keep in communication. Like my friends were driving and anything can happen in the traffic. Keep a good communication. Keep a good, open, honest communication. They would tell me, hey, listen, there is a traffic. It takes us 20 minutes longer. And I would say, perfectly fine, no worries. It gives you time to do your things and it gives them time not to worry to be late. So keep good communication with the people you host and be honest about things. And even something, it's not a tragedy if something might go not as planned. It's always like be flexible, be open-minded, and just don't react and just don't overreact. Okay, and ask for help. Fourth, like separate the duties. Like when I learned that, I always thought that cooking is my chore. Well, guess not. Like think about it. My husband, thanks to my beautiful husband and our good friend, our best friend who helped us to build a grill. So my husband now finds joy in grilling certain foods. So we separate the duties. Like think about it. You cook appetizers, you set up the table, you do grocery shopping. And what your husband does? He grills, you know. What he does, if you need, he's in charge of drinks. He's in charge of glasses. He's in charge of variety of drinks people prefer. He's in charge of grilling meat. He's in charge of taking care of the lawn and, you know, things around the house. So just separate the duties, and it goes well with the ask for help. So now I don't feel like I'm a hostess like my mom was. Of course my dad helped. Of course he went to the market. Of course my dad will bring like groceries and stuff to entertain the guests. Of course my dad will clean the house. Of course my dad will help my mom. But when it came to the kitchen, I remember my mom was like more like a queen, like a boss in the kitchen. So everybody would be like doing their part, and she would tell us what to do, peeling the vegetables, like washing dishes. Or back in the day, you know, kitchens were not as well equipped as those ones. We didn't have dishwashers, so every time you cook, like you have this huge sink with the dishes. So my mom would tell you, just wash the dishes, dry the dishes, do this, do that. And again, she was the boss, and in my kitchen I'm the boss, but don't be afraid to ask. Okay, next step. A little bit of garlic cloves. My dad peeled them for me. Thank you, thank you. I'm gonna stuff them. I'm gonna put few first. Then I got the apples. I'm gonna stuff it with the apple. Oh well, I'm trying to show you now. Okay, can you see now? I'm gonna stuff this beautiful duck with my apples. And okay, it came with a little bit of, you know, like I got the, it smells so good. Oh my gosh. Okay, so stuff it with the apples. Okay, ask for help, be organized, know what to do. And let's say yesterday was charcuterie board, appetizer with smoked salmon, appetizer with mozzarella cheese and tomatoes, and a lot of fruits, a lot of cut fresh fruits, a lot of fresh berries, and just, you know, just something to munch before the main course, just something to munch, have some drinks, and, you know, not too much, but the best, the most tasteful thing. So I came up with the charcuterie board, and my trick is that charcuterie board itself has a good variety of finger foods. And while people are gathering and are excited from the meeting, they're having drinks and they just, you know, arrived, it's a good way. What a disaster. Oh my gosh, that's an epic fail, but that's okay. I didn't realize this cavity. Okay, everything fell out now. Okay, let's do it like that. Let's put it here. Oh my goodness. Let's put it here because we're gonna put it in the bag. I put it from the top and it fell out on the bottom. Ha ha ha. That can tell you something that I didn't cook. I didn't cook duck before. With the turkey, I didn't have that disaster, but that's okay. So I put a little bit of dill too because I had dill. I put a little bit of dill. Ah, nice. Cook with love. Just imagine how nice and juicy this duck will be and how healthy is the duck meat. It's not very greasy. It's not very fatty. It's a very good meat. It's going to be good. And the duck will take all these flavors from the seasoning. Oh my goodness. Okay. Okay. Charcuterie board. And you've probably seen my shorts that I'm getting better and better at cooking my charcuterie board. And the key is improvise. Don't have certain rules. Don't have certain limitations for your charcuterie board. Everybody loves cheese. Everybody loves certain like cold meats. And everybody loves some fruits. Everybody loves some nuts. Just, you know, improvise. Just think through before, like what you have in your pantry, what you need to buy fresh, what you're gonna put on your charcuterie board, and just go with the flow. So I have a good size charcuterie board. It's probably good for gatherings up to 7-8 people. And again, one of the things that helped me cope with hosting people is the amount of people you invite to your house. I noticed that I'd rather host a party for 6 or 8 people total, not more than 8 people. I talk about 8 adults. Kids are separate. Kids eat like hot dogs and crap. So I don't worry about letting kids sit at my table. So kids' table can be different. You can cook them like American food, junk food. If they want to eat steak, be my guest. They can eat steak. But most of the kids, you know, they eat something else. So I don't worry about like pleasing the kids that much because, you know, American kids, they don't care. And I don't need to impress the kids. So for adults, I usually like a party, like what is manageable for me, what is something that I'm feeling like I can pay attention to everybody and I can manage the crowd is about 6 people total. So there are 3 adults in my family. Papa. There are adults in my family, and so let's say yesterday was 7 adults. So that was the perfect seven, magic number. That was a perfect number of guests, 7 guests. And everybody can sit at the table. I have all the, I think I have up to 12 people. Like my dining set is 12 person dining set. So just manage the crowd. If you want to host people, don't host all of them from all different places. Try to have a little more private parties. I don't like mixing parties, you know. If we like to invite couples, like 1 or 2 couples, and it's more like a little more private, a little more meaningful, little more like small. I do well with the small parties. I cannot host huge parties, so I guess I'd rather do 2 or 3, 4 different parties and hostings in my house than to do a big party more than 12 people, you know. Like more than 12 people, I'll probably gonna be, you know, not in good shape. Okay, here is the bag. Now we're gonna put our beautiful duck in the bag. And I just heard the beep that that my oven is ready. Oh boy, those bags are huge. I bought turkey bags, turkey size. Oh, I didn't notice that. Yeah, but that's okay. I guess it's better to have a bigger bag than a smaller bag. So that will do. I'm gonna put my beautiful duck in the bag, and I'm going to tie it. I'm gonna make a knot. Okay, so we discussed the size of a party, right? So now the size of a party matters. And again, maybe you don't care. Maybe you want 30 people in your house. It's really up to you. I'm totally talking about my experience, and I'm totally talking about finally I can listen to my own comfort zones. I can listen to my own feelings. I'm not trying to, you know, be good for everybody. First of all, if you're listening to your own feelings, you're going to be happy to host and share your good feelings rather than share your anxiety and share your stress with others. So I do great with 6, 8 people in my house. 6, 8 adults in my house. Yesterday we had 7 adults and it was perfect. So when the guests arrive, you put out your appetizers that you prepared. It probably 3 hours in the kitchen, roughly from 10 to 1, to get it set up and ready. And again, I asked for help. My dad helped me with some vegetables. I washed my fruits and veggies. I let them dry. I made sure I have enough dishes to set everybody. And my other thing, I'm very particular about hosting people and using real plates, real china. My pet peeve in the United States, and it's not even about ecology, it's about the atmosphere. And I know all this are like maybe stupid conditions, and they're like not even stupid conditions, they're like more restrictions, but I would say they're my preferences. Okay, here you go, beautiful duck in the bag. And because it's gonna have juices and I'm sure the bag will leak, I put some foil on the top of my tray, and I'm sure it's ready. And we're gonna put it in the oven, and we're gonna put it for about 1 hour from now. But we'll be checking periodically and see how the duck is doing there. Okay, start. 1 hour. Conventional bake, 375 in the bag. Boom, boom, done. 1 hour. It took us 1 hour. And if I wouldn't be talking, it will probably take me about 30 or 45 minutes. Because first I rubbed it with the salt. I let it stay for about 10 minutes. Then I started my live stream. I rubbed it with the spices and let it stay for another 15 minutes. Then I rubbed it with my sauce and I let it stand another 15 minutes. So 40 minutes. But it took us 1 hour because I got distracted with talking about hosting. Thank you for being with me. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So while I'm cleaning, I'm still going to talk to you about the techniques. Okay. While you're cooking and you have your kitchen to yourself, make sure you ask people nicely not to bother you. Make sure when you get help, you say thank you. Make sure you just be civil with your family, because sometimes, you know, my dad tells me in advance, oh, if the guests are coming, I know what is coming. And I'm telling my dad, what are you talking about? And he's talking about me being super nervous and mean. And I'm like, no, this time I'm not going to give him this opportunity. This time I'm going to stay as calm, as pleasant as possible. So, another coping skill. When you're in the kitchen, you have kitchen to yourself. Make sure you run your dishwasher before you start cooking, because everything, my tip would be clean as you go. Don't leave a huge, big amount of dirty dishes in your sink. So, in the morning, when you wake up, if your dishes are not done, make sure you do your dishes so you start cooking with the empty dishwasher. And while you're cooking and you have like dirty dishes, put them in a dishwasher. And even if the dishwasher is not full, just run a short cycle for an hour. Because then, while it's running, you have another batch of dishes that needs to be clean. And this way, your sink is not full of stuff. And I think it's a good tip for every person who is cooking. Because a lot of people I talk to, like I have a lady who works with me in the office, and she lives alone. She doesn't like to cook. She says she doesn't like to cook because she doesn't like to cook dishes. And for me, it's like, wow. So all these years, you're eating from taking out just because you don't like to do dishes. But back in the day, we didn't even have a dishwasher, and we did everything with our hands. And the same, my pet peeve is so many people use paper plates. Like I have two beautiful china sets. One is everyday china set. It's from Lenox, and it's Butterfly Meadow collection. I really, really love it. We bought it for my wedding, and I told my husband I want to have this Butterfly Meadow collection because it's I want my plates. I want to use Butterfly Meadow from Lenox. And the set of china I have for my guests is a gift from my sister for my wedding. And this is special Mikasa, very classic set. I'll show you. Very classic china set I use for guests. And if we have a dishwasher, I don't need to worry about washing dishes. This is my set to host. This is my china set to host guests. It's from Mikasa. And I have matching white tablecloth and matching cloth napkins. So, yeah, we're going. We're waiting for the dog to be done, and then we're going. Me and my daughter, we're going for pedicures today. Gonna hang out with my teenager and do something. Beautify ourselves. So, again, but this is a preference. I don't care. Again, it's all the conditions. It's all in your head. If your family is totally fine with paper plates and they don't care, they come just to see you and have a good time. And I know American culture is like, people don't care about like entourage. I do care about entourage. And again, maybe I'm compensating because my mom would have a nice, beautiful china plates. But every day we would eat from like silly unmatched plates that could have been chipped. But you know, it's like you deserve to eat from those plates, but only guests deserve to eat from a nice china. So when I grew up and I started my family, I told to myself, forget it. I'm not eating from unmatched, chipped, all different size plates. I'm buying nice china. I'm buying nice china for every day, and I'm buying nice china for my guests. And I don't care, you know, if we have unmatched plates, they go to trash. They go to Goodwill. And if my butterfly metal collection, you know, plates break, I'm buying replacements. So I have enough butterfly metal plates, and if they break, you just buy replacement. And you still have matched, you know, like you still eat from a nice set every day. So that's my attitude towards the china. I don't like paper plates. I know it's convenient. I know it's less work for the hostess. I know people might go through, you know, 3 or 4 plates. And I know, but I don't see a reason in my house, if you only host in a small party of 6, 8 people, I don't see a reason to use paper plates. Maybe for kids. Again, why I'm so mean to kids? Why deserve good food? No, they do. They want to eat the steak, if they want to eat salmon, if you want to eat on my charcuterie board, all the kids in my house do. Don't think that I just don't like kids at my adult table. They have no business to listen to the adult conversation. Kids have no business to interrupt adults. Kids, I just don't like kids at my table. Even my own kids. Sorry about that. Sorry about saying that if I offend someone. And again, kids are not as appreciative to their good foods these days, and I think that bothers me, and I'd rather not to be irritated with them making poor food choices. I'd rather have them at a separate table, doing their own thing, eating their own food, and, you know, just not trying to get bothered by their unhealthier choices. Okay, so charcuterie board, appetizers and drinks. So we had, like, when we just get together, we're so excited to see each other. We have all these appetizers. Everybody's so happy about variety. Like, again, why I like charcuterie board? Because my philosophy is everyone can find something they like on the charcuterie board. Let's say, it may surprise you, I don't like cheese. Like, I don't like cheese. I do like soft cheese. I do love mozzarella, but I don't like hard cheeses. I don't like Swiss cheese. I don't like Parmesan. But again, if I don't like Parmesan, I have so much other things I love on my charcuterie board. I love nuts. I love olives. I love strawberry. I even put some star fruit yesterday, and I found it in I bought star fruit. And star fruit grows in Florida, and it's very interesting fruit. It's fruit, and you think it's a little sour and tangy, but it's sweet, you know. So it has all this variety of flavors that I really like star fruit. And star fruit as a shape makes a beautiful, like when it's cut, makes a beautiful, beautiful visual look at your charcuterie board. So improvise, always find berries, always cut some fruits, always cut some like little wedges from your fruits to organize on your charcuterie board. Improvise, use your creativity, use your, I don't know, just like you painting a little like you painting a little paint. Use your charcuterie board to put all kinds of appetizers you normally would eat, and what is good about charcuterie board, again, that everybody and anybody can find something they like, and they're not gonna eat something they dislike from your charcuterie board, right? So again, I also like to cook my cucumber with the soft cheese and a little piece of smoked salmon on the top. And this is a healthy appetizer because it's gluten-free, and it's very tasty. And I believe that smoked salmon goes well with the soft cheese, like cream cheese or soft cheese, whatever you have. I use Boursin French soft cheese, and it's really good. It's like has little seasoning and herbs. I've been live for minutes. That's pretty impressive. I've been still talking about. So, charcuterie board. You don't need to cook charcuterie board. You can just organize your appetizers on a big tray with little bowls or cups. You can just put little tiny bowls with appetizers just sitting on your bar. It can be set up differently. Just don't be afraid to improvise. Don't be afraid to ask people what kind of foods they like. Keep in mind that people are a little more cautious about eating healthy these days. So, and again, I heard this thing, when you come out of the table and your stomach feels light, it's the best. It's probably you ate the best food, and it's good for your digestion system, rather than getting off the table and being too full that you can't move. So back in the day where I'm from, they feed you to death. They pretty much cook so much, and a lot of foods are so heavy that you get off the table and you're like, why do they eat so much? So my philosophy now, have a lot of lighter options, have a lot of healthier options, have a lot of more fresh options. And when you cook main course, just try to see, again, people's preferences. You never go wrong with surf and turf, because some people might stay away from red meat and some people just prefer fish. Some people might be pescatarians, some people might be vegetarians. So just keep in mind that people these days have a lot more cautious about their personal restrictions and their dietary restrictions, their health restrictions maybe, or preferences. So just, again, we had some salmon and we had some good beef. We had some steaks, and it worked great. Those foods that you put on a grill, they need minimum preparation. They only need to be seasoned. Again, I cut some, I always love to buy lemons, because I use lots of lemons for fish and for my dressings and for my sauces. So I had a lot of lemons. For the fish, I made my own sauce. I made lemon garlic sauce with olive oil and a little bit of white wine. I put dill, lemon, garlic, olive oil, and this sauce was perfecto. It's probably similar, they have chimichurri sauce, which is kind of similar with herbs. I like dill. I like dill on my fish, but we could use that sauce on the meat too, and it tasted perfect. And one of my friends who visited, she was so impressed with my sauce. She said, I saw you making it, so I'm gonna try to make it too. And and that was the best compliment to me as a hostess. And when you get those compliments about your food, you just, I don't know, my heart just melts. That's a success. That's a good time. If people compliment my food, but even if they don't compliment and I see them eating, that's the best compliment to my food. So I was so happy. And again, we had good drinks. My husband grilled. While we ate appetizers, we stayed around, we talked, we laughed, we had few drinks, and then we sat at the table for the main course. And again, we had very meaningful conversations. People share their memories, people share their experiences. We talk about economy, we talk about cultures, we talk about impressions of when Europeans come to see the United States, how things change in the United States. We plan visits to Europe and we ask for tips how to travel in Europe. It's so much. It's so many things. It's so much love. It's so much emotions. It's so much joy going into those visits that I I could really relax and enjoy the company rather than feeling being a servant all the time. And I think that I'm doing a great job overcoming my anxieties these days, because I find more joy in how I host people in my house. I don't feel like yes, I do put my energy. I still stress about I'm still like have this stupid perfectionist and OCD attacks, but sometimes I let it go. I just tell myself that I've done it before, it's gonna be okay. And I have a great support from my husband, who said, come on, don't be like worried. You have nothing to worry about. Everything under the control. So you need somebody to be by your side to support you and let you cope with your anxieties and help you. And again, don't be afraid to ask for help. Even if you a control freak like me, people are very capable. Delegate. Just go ahead and delegate. Even if, like, have a little more faith. Even if they don't cut your fruit very thin, like I like to cut my lemon very super thin, if they don't do that, it's not the end of the world. It still help, it counts. And just thank people for helping you. And at the end of the day, you have this deep feeling of satisfaction. You have this deep feeling of joy that everything went well, everybody was happy. Everybody was happy to be around you. You're not like you're not trying to win a contest. You're not trying to win a chef's contest, or you're not trying to win the best award for setting up the table. You're just trying to spend meaningful, happy time with your loved ones, with people you like, and the people you enjoy company. So that's my thoughts about hosting friends, and that's what I wanted to get off my shoulders, and that's what I wanted to tell you. I think I inherited great cooking skills from my mom genetically, because when I grew up, she always told me, you better learn now before you can't learn anymore from me. And she was right. She made me watch her since I was maybe 10, and she made me help around the kitchen so I can improve my skills. And something I didn't believe, and I don't believe now, and I wouldn't tell my kids, that if your cooking skills are great, your husband will be good to you. I don't want to give them that philosophy. It doesn't depend on your cooking skills. It depends on, love. It depends on people having good relationship regardless each other's cooking skills and household skills. So some things I appreciate my mom did for me, most of the things I appreciate my mom did for me, she was a role model, how to go out an extra mile to make parties successful. Some of the things I didn't want to be like her. And it's all the process. I don't say that I'm at the point now that I completely figured out and I'm a master of hosting people in my house. But it's a process, and with every time hosting and having a great time, I just confirm that it's not the stress. It's not the stress for me. It's more like making memories, having good times, being with friends, being present, sharing good times together. So that was my confession. Please comment, how do you like to host people in your house? What are your little traditions? What you like, what you don't like? What are your special dishes you cook? What are your philosophy about feeding people? And I would appreciate any comments, if you stay kind and reasonable. So thank you for cooking the duck with me. Thank you for listening to my confession about hosting. And I hope I shared some good tips with you. If you feel like you're not a good host, maybe those tips help you to be confident and know that people come to your house not only for food and getting their bellies filled up. They come to your house because people have a need to socialize, and people have a need to be loved, and people have a need to belong, and people have a need to be among other people for, you know, for their well-being. So just think about not only pleasing everybody, not only serving everybody, just thinking about having a good time, and look forward for the emotions and joy, and look forward for the making new memories with these people while they are present, while they want to come visit you. Because again, when you go back and think that you can't visit anymore with people, it's devastating that you don't cherish or appreciate those times, regardless the food, regardless the color of the china, regardless the paper plates. Just appreciate people being present, people being around you, and making memories and good relationship with people around you. Thank you, thank you. 1 hour 26 minutes. It's a good live stream. Give me likes, subscribe, and if you're in town, drop me a line if you want to stop by. Yes, if you're in town, drop me a line, and if you want to stop by, I'll do my best to make you feel welcomed. I love you. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Have a good day. Have a good Sunday. And again, that's what I'm telling my husband. You give something and something comes back to you. Yesterday we hosted my beautiful friends from Germany, and today we're going to visit my friends here in our little town. They invited us over for get together, so I'm excited to go visit some other house and be a guest at somebody else's house. Yay! What goes around comes around. I think that's a perfect example of it. So have a good Sunday. I love you. Thank you for being with me. Thank you for watching. Bye bye, Kate B. Bye bye. And update on the duck. I'll probably do a little short later to show you how the duck turned out. So stay tuned and watch more videos and shorts. Thank you. Bye bye, Kate B. Bye bye. Love you all.